I'm Gaio. Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. Sucias are my favorite. If you like what you hear, rate this episode. If you've listened to more than 2 episodes, subscribe. And if this is your first time here, you got to stick around to the end. Do you ever wonder the next day after your date if your date is into you, or if they had a good time, or if they even like you? If you said yes, I'm willing to bet the way you end a date is way different than the way I end one. But Gaio, you don't even know me. True. And I know human nature. I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I can guess how the date you had might have ended. I had fun tonight. We should do this again sometime. That's vague. Did you enjoy their company? Did you mean it, or did you just say that because you couldn't think of anything else to say? Should we do it again? Are you even going to call or text them and set something up? Do you hope that they're not a psycho and bother you for another date and just get the hint when you ghost them? See, not all first dates end in sex. A lot of dates don't even end up with the male walking her to the front door. I recently did an impromptu survey asking women whether they've been walked to their car or front door. I asked some friends, random internet strangers, and a few fans, or at least a few followers on TikTok. The question was, out of the last 20 first dates you've been on, how many of the guys walked you to your car or front door? Out of 144 respondents, only 3 of them said that their dates walked them to their front door or to their mode of transportation. One said that about 12 walked her to her door. The rest said only 1 or 2. Side note, the ones that got walked every time to their door are women who present as feminine, not just look like a cis woman, but more often than not wear skirts or dresses, have long hair and wear it down, use subdued makeup or none at all. And 2 of the 3 of them I've known for years, and I know them in person or in real life, offline, however you want to call it. Now, there's going to be a point to this tangent. Just keep this in mind. In most cases, where the female doesn't get a clear message as to whether or not there's going to be a second date or a next date, or even likes her, women will spend their days after their dates messaging their bestie, if not their circle of friends, and possibly posting on Reddit that they had a great time, but they haven't heard from the guy, or his texts are now short and not as engaging as before. And they'll spend an inordinate amount of time trying to figure out if there's going to be a second date until he reaches out to set up a date, usually the day of, or once it's clear that she's been ghosted. Now, I get no one has taught you how to date. I mean, sure, you might have gotten a sentence or two of advice from a parent, an auntie, or an uncle, or maybe even a grandparent. But most of us just try to figure out and get our cues from movies and TV shows. And the whole dating scene seems weird nowadays because, I mean, who even dates? It's just interviews for hookups, it seems. So here's a solution. At least it's worked for me and a few friends that have followed my example. So what do you do at the end of a date? Let me paint you a picture. I went on a date. We sat and talked for a few hours and then made fun of some people while people watching. And in short, I had a good time. We had fun doing X, Y, and Q. And at the end of the date, I'd say something along the lines of, "Hey, date, I had fun with you today," especially making up backstories to other people while we were at Starbucks and guessing what people were really up to when we were at the park. I think I like you, and I'd definitely like to go out on another date with you to get to know you better. I'll DM, call, or text you before I go to work tomorrow and touch base and see if we can do this again. Whoa, Gaio, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? You just overshared, and what if she doesn't like you that way? What if she says no? Or what if she says yes to your face, but then doesn't confirm anything for a date? Or what if she says thanks, but I'm not feeling it? Or maybe you just put too much pressure on her and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those are some valid points. Here's the thing. Women, in my experience, find it more attractive that I am willing to take the risk and share my feelings. Now, I'm not saying to spill your guts on the first date and talk to her about your childhood traumas. Simply that in this instance, at the end of the date, you're willing to be vulnerable and share that you like her before you even know she likes you. And guess what? She just might admit after you tell her that she likes you too. And that it's brave, refreshing, cool that you told her first. But let me break it down. Let her know that you had a good time. And I specified what we did together that I liked. Other times it could be something that I liked that she said, something that she did. But the key is to let her know that you like them and why. Let them know that you want to do this again to get to know them better. This makes your intentions clear, that you're willing to get to know them, that you want to go out on a date with them, and you're not just looking for sex. Now, if you are, that's fine too. But it's better to make that clear as well, that, hey, look, I just want to hook up, be friends with benefits, and work my way up from there. Or whatever your methodology is to getting a date or getting a girlfriend, sometimes you rather have that emotional intimacy before you decide to have sexual intimacy. But either way, being clear about your intentions is far more attractive to women and more likely to get you the results you want than to lie to them. And when you follow up, you'll prove your worth that you can keep your word. Women like and desire and appreciate security and knowing that they can trust your word. Lastly, you're going to tell her when to expect to hear from you. Now, this is one of those things that during the date, you'll want to clarify or get information on. Pepper in, hey, what's the best way to get in touch with you? Some women are the type to have 17,000 unread emails, 99 plus unlisted voicemails, 388 unread text messages, but her Snapchat always has less than 10 unread messages. This also lets you check to see if she's paying attention to you. See, when I get in touch with her around 6 p.m. and she says, I thought you were going to call me before you go to work, which she could be saying lightheartedly or jokingly just to call me out. However, I'll know she paid attention when I told her, hey, I work nights. See, dating is a two-way street. You both have to earn each other's trust, but respect should always be freely given. But that's another lesson for another day. The key here is to let her know that you noticed she didn't pay attention, and if there's a second date, she'll pay more attention to you than her surroundings because you'll let her know that you're not going to let it slide. See, when I notice that she didn't pay attention, I'll tell her something like, just for that, you're buying dinner next time, or paying for drinks, or buying the appetizers, or whatever. But Gallo, how do you know if that'll work? What if it doesn't? Well, you don't know. There are no guarantees in life, except that one day you will die. So you can take your last breath regretting not living a life worth living, or you can take risks in occasional momentary pain. Yeah, that was dark, but I'm old, jaded, and widowed. So if it doesn't work, guess what? There are literally millions of other people out there in the world for you to find one to make it work with. So you have no excuse. Because worst case scenario is better than wondering for 2 or 3 weeks if they are interested in you, why you haven't had a second date, or they tell you they're not into you by the time you message them the next day, and you can be on to the next one. What was the point of the women who always get walked to the cars? Well, those women always present as feminine, as soft. They also let it be known to their dates that they're interested and they enjoyed it. And their success rate or their knowledge of having a second date is higher than average. Now, the consensus among them is that they get second dates 9 times out of 10. Sometimes they're the ones that say they didn't feel any chemistry, they don't want to go on a second date. But 10 out of 10, guys ask them out for a second date because, and I'm presuming here, they present as more feminine. That doesn't mean I don't believe women don't want to be in a relationship, but most guys are looking for feminine women. I'm not saying you can't be a girl boss. I'm not saying you can't be an alpha woman in your career. But when it comes to dating, guys don't want to date that. So if you want to have more success or more guaranteed second dates, maybe consider how you present yourself on those dates. If you know someone that needs to hear this, do both of us a favor and share it with them. I'm Gallo, and I want you to have hashtag relationship goals relationships. I love you. You are worthy of it. Till next time, besos.